right, hello friends. This is Mr. C of Mr. C's Homeschool Music Academy, and it is time for music theory lesson number 3. Okay, so today, as I told you guys last time we were talking about how to write the actual particular notes over here. But now we're actually going to use these notes in practice in terms of rhythm. Okay, it's all about rhythm. But before we get to know what the values, okay, what the rhythmic values, basically how many beats each note kind of gets and how we're supposed to apply that when it comes to music, we have to know where that actually comes from. Okay, there's a certain set of rules that music goes by. Okay, so for instance, we have right over here, if you notice, all the way to the left side, we have your 4/4 meter. Oh, by the way, please, I almost forgot. Please make sure that you have your manuscript notebook, okay, with the pre-done staff lines. You can use that, okay, and I'm going to show you real quick actually. Your staff lines are going to be, okay, going all the way across, right? So you have that. You have 5 staff lines. Now, if you notice, I don't have staff lines when it comes to this, okay? But you don't, and you do not have to write in a treble clef at all, okay? You can take this, okay, take those two numbers, those 2 number 4s, you can write them as such this way, okay? Then you can create, notice I have the bar lines over here. Remember those terms? We have the bar lines. You can still create bar lines, okay, going down, right? And then you can write your notes. You can actually write your notes in the bottom space of the actual staff, okay? So you can actually do it like that. So everything that I have here, you're basically going to copy onto the staff that you have there, okay? So that's how that's going to look, okay? And copy the rest of the measures that way. Remember, the measures are the bar lines that create boxes of music. So you would be creating, again, writing bar lines, okay, drawing those bar lines to create those boxes, okay, of music called measures, okay? But that's just for example. But I wanted to leave out the staff lines, okay, only because I really want you guys to really focus on the rhythms themselves, okay? So again, make sure you have your manuscript paper. Okay, you have your pencil. Okay, now also if you want, you could also use, okay, if you happen to have blank sheets of paper to leave out the staff lines, you can also do that as well. Okay, but in any event, let's talk about the 2 numbers, okay, that I just wrote down. Okay, you have a 4 up here and a 4 down there. Okay, that is called the meter. Okay, or another word for it is time signature. So you might hear both terms throughout your musical journey. You might hear this called a meter or a time signature, okay? Now what does that mean? So a meter basically tells us how we're going to approach every single note, how we're going to value them. It sets the rule for that, okay? So if we look at the top number 4 here, the top number 4 tells us how many beats there are in each measure, how many beats per measure, okay? So again, we have the bar lines. They create the boxes called measures, okay? And so in other words, in every measure we have 1, 2, 3 measures, but for each measure that's written in a piece of music, you have to have a total of 4 beats altogether. No matter what note or a combination of notes you use, they must equal out to 4 full beats, okay? But now, again, I mentioned before about the value of the notes. How do we figure out the value? Well, we have to go down to where the 1 beat is. That's the foundational count, basically. Okay. If you notice a lot, we're going to be doing a lot of counting. Okay, but we're going to count by ones, basically. Okay, so that's what the bottom number 4 is about. So take a look at that bottom number 4. And by the way, make sure you've written this down at the very least at this point, okay? Either on the very left side of your staff paper or on the left side of your blank sheet of paper that you might be using, okay? But make sure you have this 4/4. This is a 4/4 meter, okay? And the top number again tells us how many beats per measure. In this case, it's 4. It must be 4 beats in each measure. But the bottom number is a little bit difficult to remember, okay? But if we look at it this way, okay, the number 4 on the bottom is going to explain to us what kind of note receives the 1 beat. What kind of note receives the 1 beat, okay? Now, what is that note, okay? Let's turn our eyes all the way over here here to the last measure. The last measure of notes. We have quarter notes, if you recall. We have quarter notes there, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 each. I should say we have 4 quarter notes in the last measure. Notice the counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that I have a count, a 1-beat count for each quarter note. So what does that say? The bottom number 4 tells us that the quarter notes themselves will receive 1 beat each. And again, that's our basic unit of count. We need to know where the 1 beat lies, and the 1 beat lies within the quarter note. Remember the quarter note? It's got the colored in note head with the stem, okay? That is our quarter note, and that receives 1 beat. So, back to the meter. The meter tells us again, if we have a 4/4 meter, right? Top number 4 says there are 4 beats in every measure, okay? And depending on the meter, there are different meters. This is not the only meter throughout the musical language, okay? Throughout any of the songs. There's like lots of different meters, and a lot of times that number will be different on the top, okay? As will the number on the bottom. The number on the bottom might be different as well, okay? But just for this example again, 4 beats in every measure. The bottom number 4 tells us that the quarter note gets 1 beat. The quarter note again receives 1 beat, okay? So now that we know where beat 1 lies, okay, within the quarter note. Remember the quarter note is another way of saying 1/4 in a fraction, okay? A quarter of something is equal to 1 beat, okay? A quarter of the note, I should say, okay? So now let's turn our attention to the first measure. Remember what this is called? This is called the whole note, okay? Notice that this 1 note is alone in the first measure. It is completely alone. And notice the counts that I have. 1-4-3, -4. What did I say? 1-2. Did I say 1-4? I must have skipped ahead there. But 1-2-3-4. Okay? Basically, the dashes are there to symbolize a hold. Okay? So the whole note, whole, W-H-O-L-E, okay, a whole note, okay, meaning what is the numerical value of that? Or the saying, it's 1. A whole means 1. So a whole note is actually equal to 4 full beats, okay? And how do we express that? Now, obviously, we don't have any instruments, okay? I'm not going to make you sing, okay? However, if I were to sing this note, if it was on a particular pitch and we were using the staff lines and, you know, and I were to sing that particular note, I would sing it and count to 4 in my head as I was holding that note for 4 beats, okay? Check it out. I'll pick any note off the top of my head. Ah. Okay, and then I stopped right when I got to the 4th count. I stopped right there. So it's a held note that's held for 4 counts, okay? But I'm not going to make everybody sing. However, what I will make you do is you're going to count by clapping. You're going to clap and hold for 4 full counts. Watch as I demonstrate. Here we go. This is our whole note, and we would clap that, okay? It's going to go 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, and then you're done. Notice that I clapped once, and I held and I counted all the way to 4, and then I released, okay? So that's the idea. So try it with me, guys, okay? By the way, if this seems almost remedial, okay, I want you to remember one thing. Clapping your rhythms is the best way to really get a handle, okay, even for professionals at any stage, okay, of their musical journey. They sometimes also have to resort to clapping or even tapping, anything to kind of get them an understanding of rhythm, okay, to keep them steady, okay, on whatever particular tempo. Oh, there's a new word there, tempo, okay? Remember that word tempo, okay? Maybe you want to write it down too. Tempo is the speed in which we play or sing, okay? So we're going to use kind of a moderate tempo, meaning just medium, okay? And you're going to count and clap, okay, as in this moderate tempo. Again, watch me. It's going to go 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, and then you're off, okay? So let's do that together, everybody. Here we go. I get your hands ready. Get your clapping hands ready. Clap once, hold for 4 counts. On my count. 1, 2, ready, let's count and clap, and 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, and release. Okay, let's do that again, guys. Okay, notice that I counted, basically counted to 4. Okay, just before we started, I just set the tempo. That's what we were talking about. The speed in which we play or sing. In this case, we're clapping, right? So that I set a tempo count to set the speed in which you're going to clap. That's the idea. So let's do that again. Hands ready. And on my count, 1, 2, ready, count and clap. Let's go. 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, and off. Okay? Notice I release. I kind of go like this to symbolize that we're off. Okay? Now, if you recall in the second measure, let's divert our eyes to the second measure. The second measure has half notes, 2 half notes. Okay? Why only 2? Okay, half meaning 1/2, right? That's our fraction. Notice how half is really what? Two parts of a whole, right? Or in this case, a whole note. Okay, so with the half note, we said that a half note is worth, okay, or I should say, not that we said it before, but a half note is going to be worth, since half is okay, the even portion of 1, which is a whole, right? If a whole note is worth 4 counts, as we said before, then a half note, right? If you cut it in half, if you cut a whole note in half, you get 2 of them. They are worth 2 beats each, okay? So a half note in this case is worth 2 beats each. When we clap and count, okay, when we clap and count the 2 half notes, it's going to be basically the way we did the whole note, except we're not clapping once, but we're clapping on beat 1, holding over to 2, then clapping on beat 3, then holding over to 4. So we're clapping twice for this entire measure. And it still equals out to what? 4 full beats according to the rule of our meter, okay? So here we go. This is our 2 half notes. Watch me first. It's going to go 1, hold 2, then right on beat 3, 3, hold 4. So all together it's going to go 1, hold 2, 3, hold 4. Everybody got that? Let's try it together, everybody. Here we go. Okay, by the way, make sure you've written this down, okay? Make sure we got our whole note first measure. This way you can practice along with your own notes there, okay? Make sure you have your second measure, and then make sure you have your fourth measure with your 4 quarter notes, as we briefly went over. So, our 2 half notes. Hands ready. Let's clap and count. On my count. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, clap and count. Here we go. 1, hold 2 and 3, 3, hold 4, and done. Okay? That's the idea. So that's how those 2 half notes are clapped. Okay? If we were singing them, okay? Ah, ah. Notice I sang twice. Once on beat 1, held it over to 2. Then I sang again on beat number 3 and held it over to 4. Okay? I sang twice to accommodate the 2 half notes that are there. Okay? Now, let's do this. We have to clap and count. Going back to the beginning, back to the first measure, clap and count the whole note all the way through to the second measure with the 2 half notes. Okay? Watch me first. It's going to go 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Then you clap again. 1, hold 2 again, 3, hold 4, and off. Every time we have the dashes, okay, when it comes to that whole note and the half note, we're clapping, we're holding for the appropriate amount of counts that are there, okay? So that's how that's going to go. Do it one more time with me. First and second measure. Here we go. On my count. 1, 2, hands ready. Here we go. And 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Clap again. 1, hold 2, clap again. 3, hold 4, and done. Okay? Now, are we truly done? No, not quite. We still have the last measure. Okay, now we have our 4 quarter notes. Make sure, again, you've written this down. Okay, you have time. This is the video. You have time to do that. Okay, you can always go back. Okay, all that stuff. Okay, but the last measure. Now, we said again that the quarter notes are 1 beat each, as per the rule of our meter. Every quarter note, because it's a number 4. I think I didn't really mention that much. Okay, anytime we have a number 4 at the bottom of a meter, okay, or time signature. Again, it's called a time signature or meter. You could use either term, okay. The bottom number 4 tells us right away that the quarter note itself gets 1 beat, okay. If this was a different number, it would mean that a different note would receive 1 beat, okay. That's just a little bit of FYI, but that will come in another music theory lesson, okay. So our number 4 at the bottom of the meter, okay, aka time signature, tells us specifically that the quarter notes are worth 1 beat each, and so we have 4 quarter notes to fulfill the rule of the top number 4, which is 4 beats in every measure, okay, and we're just going to simply count and clap like this. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and that's the end of that measure, okay, so pretty simple, right? Let's clap and count the last measure together. Everybody get your hands ready, and on my tempo count, ready? 1, 2, ready, clap and count. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and done, okay? That's how that goes, okay? Pretty simple. But now, guess what? We got to put it all together, okay? As if this is an example, but it's like a song. We have to go back to the beginning and clap and count all the way through to the very end, okay? Have your hands ready. Here's my count, okay? Let's do it together. We're going to do a couple of times. So here we go. On my count. 1, 2, ready. Whole note first. Let's go. 1. Hold 2, hold 3, hold 4. Half notes. 1, hold 2, 3, hold 4 quarter notes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and off. You're done, okay? That's how you would clap and count this example. Let's do it again, guys. Here we go. Remember, if you feel the need to clap and count out loud, don't be shy. Do it, okay? Do it to help you keep on that tempo and keep a good ear and eye for the counts, okay? It's all about counting and staying on the tempo that I set, okay? So let's take it again from the very beginning. Here we go. Our 4/4 meter, 4 beats per measure. Quarter note gets 1 beat. Here comes the whole note. Hands ready on my count. 1, 2, last time, here we go, and 1, hold 2, hold 3, hold 4, half notes, 1, hold 2, 3, hold 4, quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, and off, okay? And that is our 3-measure example for the 4/4 meter, okay? So let's recap a little bit. Again, the meter tells us how we're going to approach any song, okay, rhythmically, okay. We know that the top number 4 says it's 4 beats in every measure, and that the bottom number 4, specifically number 4 on the bottom, tells us that every quarter note receives 1 beat. So now that we know our basic unit of count, okay, we can go from there. Think about it this way too. The 4 quarter notes, okay, quarter notes meaning 1/4, right? You can think of it as also quarters, 25 cents. How many quarters does it take to make a whole dollar? $1? It takes 4 quarters, 4 25-cent coins, okay? And then think of the half notes as 50 cents each, okay? There are 50-cent coins out there, okay? For you kids who might not know that, okay? There are 50-cent coins, and 50 cents plus 50 cents, half and half, make a whole dollar, okay? If you think about it in terms of that, in terms of money, that'll make a lot of sense to you there, okay? So those are the counts, okay, that we go by, the values of every note, the whole note, the half note, and the quarter notes, okay? There are other notes that we did go over, and that will be in the later music theory lessons, okay? But thanks for joining me in music theory number 3. Make sure you practice this, and I do wish you happy practicing. Everyone take care. Bye-bye.